Ready?
Hi, my name is Andrea Plaid, and I am several things. I am the owner of my own business, A Magdalene's Touch. I am the associate editor over at Racialicious, and I work as the associate producer of Black Folk Don't.
Lately in the mirror, I'm visited by an extraterrestrial with a Brillo pad for hair, a butt bigger than the landmass of North America, and toothpicks for legs. Has there ever been an uglier black child? Am I suffering from quote unquote self hatred, that infamous and slippery condition pinned to black folks?
Racialicious is the award-winning pop culture and race blog. It's been around in various permutations for almost 10 years. There always has to be that conversation, that constant reminder of what's going on in the world. And I know that some people poo-poo writing about pop culture, but let's be real. Pop culture is deeply influential in what we think about and how we interact in this world. So writing about race, writing about gender, writing about sex and sexuality, I think is very vital. My writing may not be always causing someone to put their feet to the streets, but it may help someone think about something. And those are kinds of smaller forms of activism.
And what is this self hatred stuff anyway? Is it an accurate description of how Eurocentricity makes folks feel about their bodies, skin, hair, intellect? Maybe I know a lot of confident in the positive black folks, but the idea of hate just rubs me wrong.
I think I was reading it for like 6 months to a year. And in that process, I was always a commenter. And I actually started having communications with the editor-in-chief, who's now the owner and editor, Latoya Peterson. And one day she puts out a call for submissions, and I thought, why not? So the first thing I pitched to her was, why don't Black people and other people of color write sex advice columns along the lines of a Dan Savage, Tristan Taormino, people like that? So I wrote it, thought nothing more of it. And then she says, so Andrea, I would like for you to become the sexual correspondent at Racialicious. And so I was sexual correspondent for several years. And then this past year, I went from that to being the associate editor.
I dislike the term self hate, which is often untrue. Disliking certain aspects of yourself is not the same as hatred. I prefer to describe the condition as a lack of self-love. I emphasize love because whatever we focus on expands.
I always felt that I was going to be a writer of some sort. I thought, as long as you teach me how to write, I'll figure out what I want to write about, whatever that may be. With writing, there's always that tension between wanting to have a creative life and having the roof over your head job. So I always took survival jobs like administrative assistant work or at least office work. They were always decent paying jobs that allowed me to, again, do what I needed to do. So for me to consider myself a writer, it took me a very, very long time because to me, it was writing is something that you do full time and passionately, not something you do part time and still be doing some sort of survival job. I think once I got a few pieces under my belt online, I think that's when my consciousness shifted about it a little bit. But still there's that tension. It's like, yeah, I'm a writer. People recognize my writing, but I still have to put a roof over my head and food in my stomach, and this is not paying that. Today's reality is that you cannot survive as a social justice, progressive writer unless you have done it for a very long time and you're getting certain kinds of jobs. Especially if you're a freelancer, you also probably are doing something else. Either you are writing for something like People magazine, which pays very well, or you have a partner, or you have some kind of living arrangement where there's somebody else providing consistent work, or there's some other kind of invisible income that you're getting in order for you to survive. Be it you're on unemployment, public assistance, something like that. And I'm not saying that as shade, I'm saying that as a reality of writing. And I think that that's very rarely talked about. Writing for so many of us is, we feel it is such an extension of ourselves and our passion and our love. And to have someone reject it just hurts so much. We don't want anyone to bring harm to our writing. We don't want anybody to say something bad about it. And sometimes you have to say, my writing is mine, but I cannot be so attached to it, because sometimes people have valid critiques. But also understand that you also need to be able to walk away when you need to, just for the sake of your own self-care and well-being.
In front of the Afro wigs, dashikis, and Black Power buttons, Black niece asks white aunt, "Is Black still beautiful?" "Black is always beautiful," my friend coughed up between tears. She questioned later how many others would be counted on to give her niece this message, including the little girl's own mother, who was Black.
I think a lot of my confidence came from my mom, because she was in the embodiment of it. Watching her struggle with 2 marriages, watching her going to work every day, and basically installing self-confidence as a Black woman. And she has said this, as a Black woman, there are so many things against you. It's stacked. It is stacked against you, so you need to be able to do the things that you need to do in order to make it in this world. I think also being a survivor of sexual violence, in the sense of people always trying to tell me that it did not happen, that I should be forgiving, that, it's nobody's fault, or maybe it's your fault, it happened. That survivor instinct that I think I developed so early to survive and be like, no, I'm still a person of worth. And I'm not going to let this experience shatter me, I think was another thing that allowed me to develop that self-confidence. And sometimes, you get a chip in it, and that's real. Doesn't mean that you're a failure at being confident. It's just that happened, and that's okay. Don't quit your day job. And I mean that in all sincerity, not because you're not talented, but because you really do need to keep a solid, steady income. There's no shame in starting small. Write your own blog, get on Twitter, be humble enough to take mentorship from wherever, because you'll be amazed who can teach you. And finally, I say write about what you want, because I think if you're passionate about what you write about, you're going to write well.
There's a body of evidence that speaks to our subjugation and one that speaks to our triumph. It's your choice which cloak you wear. In Loving Blackness, Hooks begins with Malcolm. We have to see each other with new eyes. Girl, what can I say? Find yourself a new pair of eyes.
Hey guys, thanks for watching Andrea Plaid's episode of Ladypoints. Please subscribe below. And follow us on Tumblr and Facebook. We're at ladypoints.tumblr.com and facebook.com/ladypoints. Bye! Thanks!